already starting to get some reports in the newsroom. I know for us here, it was more of just a jolt in the building, and we all wondered if it was actually a quake. But since then, several reports have come in. And like I mentioned, we've got 3 spots here that are all showing up on our earthquake monitor. 4.5, it's really unclear still which one exactly was that primary quake. But still very early on, Mark. It'll be interesting to see where this goes in the next hours to follow, but we'll be keeping a really close eye on it.
Okay, yeah, I'm gathering the very latest as well as this is a developing situation. We are getting reports that there were some alerts from our Orange County Bureau, those quake alerts to drop, cover, and hold on. That initially came in for our folks in Orange County as a 4.7. Typically, when these earthquakes happen, we do see the magnitude shift a bit. So the alert, if you're watching from Orange County thinking, well, I got this alert that was a 4.7, that's what I'm seeing from our team in Orange County, that's the report that they got. And again, anywhere down to the 4.5 and also reports of the 4.2. So a lot of shaking occurring, whether they were foreshocks or aftershocks and what is considered the main earthquake. As time goes by, we're going to get a better idea of what was the main earthquake and which were the foreshocks and the aftershocks. And that can all change, of course, as the shaking continues. So again, we are on air live right now with this breaking news of this earthquake in the Inland Empire, centered roughly around the Fontana area. Again, we do not know if the greater Los Angeles area is under earthquake mode right now. Certainly when that does occur, local fire departments will check for damage across the area, make sure there's no infrastructure issues. I mean, a 4.5 is not a major earthquake, but enough to certainly feel it. I got to admit that I personally did not feel it here in our Glendale studios. Of course, we're far to the west from Fontana, but there are some reports that some of our coworkers here in our building did feel that shaking. And again, our coworkers in the Orange County area did receive that alert on their cell phones to drop, cover, and hold on. For them, the alert came in as a 4.7 that was centered around the Rialto area. Of course, Rialto and Fontana are neighboring cities there in San Bernardino County. I am standing by for more information coming in through my email. Okay, on the phone right now is Kendi Phillips. She actually is a former staff member here at KABC. Kendi, good to hear from you. You are in Lido Creek, not far from Fontana. Good to hear from you. What did you feel?
Oh, hi, Mark. Yes, we felt, well, my husband could hear it coming. I thought it was maybe a vehicle that was about to drive up our road. But then it was like a rolling motion, lasted a few seconds. In Lido Creek, we are north of Fontana and Rialto. So it was enough to get our attention, that's for sure. But I don't think anything was broken. I did try to make a phone call soon after it, and the phones were not working, but of course they are now.
Very interesting. I know so many people who feel these earthquakes here in Southern California, right? We need to be prepared for it. And so many times, Kendi, we hear it coming. I remember, recently within the past year or so, there was an earthquake that I felt in the San Gabriel Valley. And I initially thought, is there a big box truck coming down the street? It sounded like a train or a truck was moving forward. And then came the shaking. I thought, okay, that's an earthquake. So for you, it was that similar feeling where you heard something first?
Yes, yes. And I get alerts on my phone, when there's an earthquake. And I noticed that there had been some in Rialto about 45 minutes before our quake happened. Isn't that correct?
Interesting. We're sorting out all of the time. I know that our team down in Orange County, they got an alert at 9:32. So that was just 10 minutes ago, not 45 minutes. So certainly we're going to sort out all of the timing with all of this. But we do know the team down in Orange County in the Bureau, they got that alert to their cell phones around 9:32. And Kendi, to confirm, did you receive an alert to your phone?
Actually, I did a Google search saying quake near me. But then I got the alert afterwards. So I didn't get it before, I got it afterwards.
Gotcha. And you being in your area for Lido Creek, again, north of Fontana off the 15, now that the shaking has stopped, at least the main shaking, have you noticed any of those aftershocks, anything of that sort?
No, I have not.
Okay. What's that mindset for you? Of course, you used to work here with us for so many years here at ABC7, and we're always in that earthquake mode. You are right there in the newsroom with us, and when this happens, we all are on alert to make sure we get all the information out there. So you're used to these happening. Let me take me back to that moment, 10 minutes ago when this happened, the clarity for you when you thought, okay, yes, this is an earthquake.
Yes. Yeah, we were watching TV, my husband and I, and all of us, and my husband said, "Oh, that's an earthquake." So, as I said, he heard it before I did, and of course, I'm a little more hard of hearing.
Yeah.
And then we felt that rolling motion. It felt strong too.
What was the duration? Was this something that lasted just a few seconds? Was it upwards of 10 seconds? How long did it last for you?
I would say less than 10 seconds.
Okay. Enough for you to think. When that happens, though, and, when we have all felt those smaller earthquakes, you wonder, okay, is this just the beginning or is it going to get worse? And you wonder, okay, it stopped. And so there has to be that relief in that moment.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
And you mentioned earlier, as our folks are watching right now, the expectation that we're not expecting any damage from this. From your take, from your experience, what you felt, yes, this got our attention, but this was not strong enough, at least in your opinion, to experience any kind of damage.
I don't think so. I don't know if people closer to the epicenter would have, had damage or something. But no, I don't notice anything here.
Okay.
So.
Kendi Phillips on the phone with us, a former staff member here at ABC7. We appreciate you calling in here from Lytle Creek and giving us your take on it. Thank you so much. Best to you and your husband, and hopefully a calm rest of the day for you.
That sounds great. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, thank you, Kendi. We can tell you this has now been revised down to a 4.4. That is the latest information we are now getting. And again, that is typical. Initially, a magnitude will be released, and then they kind of fine-tune what the size was. So a 4.4. Joining us on the phone right now is Kyle Davis. He is a photographer with us at ABC7. He is working in the Inland Empire. You're on the phone with us. Tell us, what did you feel?
Hi, Mark. Yeah, I was just sitting at my desk at the Riverside Bureau, and I felt a slight jolt. And my immediate thought was to reach out to my wife, who lives in Rancho Cucamonga, to see if she felt it as well. And she felt the shake as well.
And of course, doing what we do, and you're a photographer, we got to be prepared for this earthquake. For you, was it fairly certain of what was occurring? And like Kendi, our former coworker, said, she heard it coming. Did you hear it coming? What was the certainty for you that, okay, yes, this is an earthquake?
Yeah, I did hear a slight rumbling, and then my suspicion was confirmed when I felt it start shaking about a second or two later. And it was very brief, but I immediately recognized it as being an earthquake. Okay,
so that being said, confirm, sorry if this is reiterating, you're in the Riverside Bureau right now?
Yeah, I'm just about to leave to take off to Fontana to see what kind of damage, if any, was occurred.
Absolutely. I'm just checking all of the latest information coming in right now. So, yeah, again, this was not a major earthquake, but you being in the Inland Empire, I know it's going to then probably be a busy afternoon for you and the crew to gather the very latest. And certainly, as we were mentioning earlier, was this a foreshock or, you always wonder, is something bigger on the way? There's no way to fully predict that, but it certainly puts you on edge. Okay, Kyle, thank you. And I did ask Kendi this before I let you go. Again, your take, your experience, yes, this got your attention, but you're not expecting any kind of damage or anything of that sort from what you experienced. What do you think?
I'm not too worried about this. Out here in the IE, we've had several of these, I'd say, over the last 6 months, and none have really been succeeded by a bigger one or any kind of aftershock. So I'm not too worried about it, but, I'm not going to,
And Kyle, welcome to ABC7. You are a newer hire with us, correct? Are you from Southern California? I mean, are you used to this?
Yeah, I grew up in Santa Monica and actually lived through the Northridge earthquake, which was very violent.
Wow.
By comparison. So, yeah.
It's interesting. I got you on the phone. I have a producer in my ear who also grew up, in the valley during the earthquake. And so many of us living in Southern California have that comparison of what a major earthquake is like. After living through something like that, do you ever forget it?
I will never forget that, no.
Okay, well, again, I'm glad you are safe. And again, a minor earthquake, a 4.4 now that has been reported. I'm going to let you get back to work on the very latest that we're able to gather today. Kyle on the phone with us. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Shayla Girardin, you've been standing by with me on this breaking coverage of this magnitude 4.4 earthquake in the Inland Empire, Fontana. So again, now a couple phone calls coming in from co-workers and former co-workers that felt this shaking. So it's that shared experience that people have when something like this happens.
Yes, it's interesting to hear the different perspectives of where people were when they first felt it, that moment when you start to realize, okay, this is an earthquake that's finally happening. I want to point you out toward Fontana, where we've been talking about that 4.4 earthquake that just happened. Now that a couple moments have passed, we're starting to see what exactly played out, the foreshocks, the aftershocks. If you were out and about in the area and you felt that earthquake, it was most likely this one right here, the one we keep talking about, that 4.4. Timing was just after 9:30 this morning. Now, you'll notice all of these foreshocks, the aftershocks, the one that we're talking about, the 4.4, they're all around a depth of anywhere from 3 to 5 miles. So similar with depth, but this one definitely the biggest in magnitude, about 4.4. Just about an hour earlier, we had these two just southwest of the primary 4.4 earthquake. These were foreshocks, both of magnitude or around in magnitude, a 3.0, timing just a little bit earlier, around 8:30 this morning. So maybe you felt something earlier this morning when you were out and about, maybe running errands and thought you felt an earthquake. Both of those pretty small. And then since that, we've had two more, much smaller though, magnitude only 2.0. These happening around 9:30, even as close as 9:45. But again, this primary one right here, I'll see if I can zoom in on it in just a moment. Starting this morning around 9 to 30, that's the one that if you were out this morning, if you felt something, a lot of folks describing it as more of a rolling earthquake. For us in the studio, it felt more like a jolt. That was this one, that primary 4.4 earthquake in Fontana. And like I mentioned, what's interesting about all of these, the one we're talking about and also those fore and aftershocks, all about a depth of anywhere from 3 to 5 miles. Give me a second and I'll see if I can pull up this primary one we're taking a look at. Again, 4.4 this morning, right outside of Fontana. Hearing reports, folks out in the IE, Orange County, also saying they felt that quake, but especially out toward the Inland Empire, Riverside, that's where those primary spots are. And a big reason, a big part of that is because of these foreshocks and aftershocks that we've been feeling since. So, of course, we'll keep a close eye on it. Whether or not we feel more over the course of the morning is something still be determined, but Mark, the potential, of course, is still there. We've seen a couple popping up already.
Something like this happens, it becomes top of mind once again. You know that this is something that happens in Southern California. We always need to be prepared. Okay, Shayla, thank you. Stand by with us. That being said, we're also standing by for Dr. Lucy Jones, you know, the leading seismologist here in Southern California and really across the nation for when these major earthquakes or even moderate earthquakes happen, to bring some perspective for us on what is occurring, what to expect. So we're being told that Lucy Jones will be available shortly. We will go to that when it is ready. In the meantime, on the phone, we have Greg from Menifee. Greg, I'm assuming you felt the earthquake there south of Fontana. Tell us, what was it like for you?
When I first felt it, it kind of felt like a rumbling. I was sitting on the couch, and it was more like a slip type of fault earthquake. It wasn't really a roller. Initially, when I first looked at my phone, I noticed that when I Googled it, that it was saying a 3.2. But it definitely felt like it was bigger than that. And I guess it came in 4.4. But the initial shaking and then a sudden hard jolt, and then it subsided. But it definitely felt like more like a slip fault type of earthquake rather than a roller.
Very interesting. And I know that, you know, the basic insight that, you know, magnitude is one thing, is an indicator of the size of an earthquake, but it can always feel a lot different depending, you know, how deep it was, how far you are from the epicenter. If you're right on top of a 4.4 or even smaller, if you're right near the epicenter, it can feel like a major earthquake. You move further away and it certainly changes. And there's so many factors that go into that. That being said, to clarify some of what we've heard, did you hear something prior, before the moving?
Yeah, you could hear the house rattling a little bit, and then heard a couple dogs barking. But other than that, that was about it. Nothing really swayed in the house, no damage or anything to that effect.
And we're always talking.
I do remember the Northridge.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
You were mentioning the Northridge
earthquake.
earthquake.
The Northridge. Yeah, I do remember that very vivid. Because at that time I worked for the LA Times newspaper and had to go out on an assignment to go out to the Northridge plant. And I can remember all the aftershocks, and that was pretty extreme for aftershocks, you know, hitting up towards the 5 and being right where the epicenter was. So it pretty interesting. I've been in California all my life and been through the Sylmar, Northridge. So not kind of experienced as far as earthquakes in California.
Yeah, that being said, experiencing what you have experienced along with so many millions of others here in Southern California who they were around during the Northridge earthquake. Do you ever get used to it? And does it put you on edge when you start hearing that shaking and then the movement? Are you used to it, or do you wonder, okay, is this another big one that's about to intensify?
Yeah, it's always in the back of my mind. We're told to be prepared. We try to be prepared as much as possible. You just kind of hope for the best. Don't know when that big one might come, but with the earthquakes that I have seen and experienced and seen the damage firsthand, it is always in the back of your mind to be prepared. It's not really nerve-wracking. It's just more knowing how to deal with it and being ready for anything that might come up.
Absolutely. You got to be prepared. We always tell our viewers about that, yes, we have these smaller earthquakes, but it's always a good reminder just to be ready, be prepared, have that water, have that go kit, because you never know when these things can happen. Greg, you provided a great insight. We appreciate it. Thank you for joining us on the phone. Glad you're safe, and let's hope that the major shaking at least is done for now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks again, Greg. Shayla Gerardin, again, we've pulled up this map and I'm looking at the very latest that we're getting as well, the shaking activity. And this wasn't just one earthquake. There have been, again, the foreshocks, aftershocks, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get that clarification from Dr. Lucy Jones, I know, momentarily. But there has been a lot of movement here in that area.
Yeah, especially just over the past couple hours. We've seen, you can see just on this map, we've seen 5. So whether or not they're technically going to be termed, like you mentioned, the foreshocks, the aftershocks, we'll know here over the following hour or so. But a lot of movement out toward the IE. So maybe you were out and about earlier this morning. You thought you felt that jolt. You thought you felt some rumbling. You most likely did, because now we've seen 5 here over just the past couple hours. Of course, the primary one, this is the one that most of us felt this morning. I know here in the newsroom it was a sudden jolt. Some folks have been saying it felt a little bit more just like a sudden movement. Magnitude 4.4. This happening just after 9:30 this morning. But folks, especially out toward the IE, even as far as Orange County, saying they felt some kind of movement over the past hour or so. We also have these two right here, the yellow dots. Those happened earlier this morning. Now, all of these here on my map were about a depth anywhere of 3 to 5 miles. But these two right here came in around a magnitude 3.0, so a little bit less. This was much earlier, though, both around the time range about 8:30 this morning, so an hour earlier. And then since then, we've seen a couple more just popping up on our map in the past 20 minutes or so, just around 9:40. So to talk about just 5 to 10 minutes after both of these, again, all in that magnitude range, less. These were 2.0, but depth anywhere from 3 to 5 miles per hour. So if you were out and about early this morning, you probably felt one of these, especially out toward the IE. But the primary one, I'll see if I can get a closer shot for you in just a second. The primary one, 4.4, that was out of Fontana, and that's the one you most likely felt when you were out running your errands or even home. What most of the viewers are describing, that jolt, that sudden movement, that was this one, 4.4 magnitude earthquake out of Fontana. Like Mark, like we've been saying, whether or not these are all going to be determined as foreshocks, aftershocks, we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the day plays out. If we see any more of these in the hours to come, the potential is definitely still there, especially after just seeing these two pop up in the past 15 minutes or so. But we'll have to talk to Dr. Lucy Jones, see exactly what she says, but it'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds.
Absolutely. As the day goes on, we get clarification on all of that stuff, the epicenter, the magnitude, and, what caused the shaking, the swaying, the sudden jolt, everything that's at play when these earthquakes happen. Shayla, thank you. You were mentioning all of the folks who felt this earthquake and the reports coming in, not surprising, in that immediate area, Hoopa Valley, Eastvale, Ontario, Riverside, Corona, Rancho Cucamonga, and Highland. Those are areas where we have received phone calls. Here's a surprise. Redondo Beach. We actually got a call from Redondo Beach where they did feel swaying, no jolts, but swaying. I mean, that's all the way at the coast, of course. So certainly a lot of you have felt this. You are not alone. This earthquake of 4.4 here in Southern California, centered around the Fontana area. We pulled up some information there just a moment ago. This is always a great reminder of what to do when an earthquake happens. And all of it comes down to simply being prepared. You want to check yourself for injuries. This is not a magnitude earthquake that would cause something like that unless you trip or fall. Look for and extinguish any small fires if this is a major fire. So you see all of the recommendations here for when these bigger earthquakes happen. All of it available at seismic.ca.gov. That is after an earthquake. And should, God forbid, it is something bigger, you inspect your home for damage. You get everyone out if it is unsafe to be there. But we always hear something that you don't want to do is run, especially if it's that bigger earthquake. If you get the alert, you don't want to start running through your home. We get so many reports and stories of people getting injured with ankle injuries from running as these earthquakes start shaking your home. So it's best, that's why you drop, cover, and hold on as that shaking hits your area. Always a good reminder. I know it's easier said than done, but that is the recommendation from officials. All of this information, of course, available as well on our website. We can tell you with those phone calls that we receive from viewers across Southern California, nobody has reported things coming off of shelves, any major damage. Sometimes when it's a 4.4, we see like liquor bottles and things like that happen. We will keep you posted here throughout the day on ABC 7 through the afternoon for the latest on this 4.4 earthquake. Also online, abc7.com. Thanks for joining us.